Right, so in the first video of this little short series, I gave you a brief overview of how I use Notion for my stories, and I demonstrated using my 12-week year goals. And I want to continue using that method because I know in our Book in a Month series, several people expressed some interest in learning how to do that. And to me, like I said, it's the only goal tracking system I've ever been able to stick with. So I want to go through that process as well as showing y'all from scratch on building some Notion pages. This is very much going to be a learn with me as I go type thing. You'll see it as I make mistakes, how I try to fix things, what I decide to change up, things like that. So whenever you have the Notion, you have a workspace option right here, and then you have some private. This is because you can add people to your workspace. So let's say I have maybe a book editor or just a co-author or something like that. I want to add them to my workspace. So everything I put here, they would be able to have access to, and then I have my private stuff. It's just me on my workspace, so I will just depends on whichever one I push here. I really don't care. So I'm just going to add the page to get it started, and you can also just do a new page up here. And we're just going to say starting 2024. I'm actually going to add this to my 12-week year goals later. But again, this is just for demonstration purposes to get things started. So I did not copy. We copied this in the last one, but I also want to copy this output because I like it. It's a very general 12-week year. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this too. This is a very general format, so I could easily use this and tailor it for each year going forward, since this didn't talk specifically about certain books. This is just the 12-week year throughout 2024. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to turn this one into a toggle so I can hide it. And see, that's what I was trying to show y'all earlier, how it takes everything below, but I believe it's because these have the headings. Like I said, I'm still learning this. So I think it's because these are already set as headings. If they were regular text size like this, it would bring everything into here. So do that for these real quick. Get them out of the way. All right, so now I basically have my little format. So I'm actually going to rename this 12-week year template. I know I can usually start here with something. I am going to I want to make this a favorite, so I can click here in the little hamburger menu, add to favorites, or I can just start right here. And so now it's moved up here with this section. All right, so what have we done? We've done the general overview, and then y'all saw me in the last video give it all of the books that I needed to do. So I'm going to copy this first because now I'm going to walk you through how you can do your own 12-week year thing. I'm just going to copy out this. I can edit it when I get to that. So I'm going to start a new chat. Say hello. I like to say hello to it. And I already have this conversation somewhere, but again, I'm walking y'all through this from scratch, how I did it. So I'm going to ask it, are you familiar with the 12-week year? So yes, developed by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. The idea is to treat each 12-week period as if it's a year on its own. So basically, instead of planning your year out, like, okay, by the end of this year, I want to achieve this, you break things down. You have more like a gigantic kind of year-end goal, but then you break things down into 12-week periods, your own smaller type goals to work towards that overall goal. Okay, creates a sense of urgency and focus on execution, breaks down annual goals into manageable and immediate tasks. Designed to avoid complacency and procrastination. That might be why it helps me so much. So as an author, applying this system can mean setting writing and publishing goals, marketing actions, or any other career objectives you want to achieve within the 12-week time frame. How might you be considering integrating the 12-week year into your workflow? So I'm going to copy that message that I had. So as an author, this could be a way for you to start planning out your books if you already know you have so many books that you need to get out for that year. So I want to focus on the various books I have planned to release in 2024. Again, this is the same stuff I put in the last conversation. So I let it know I'm starting a 4-book series, how I'm ending 2023, and everything that I want to accomplish in 2024. And again, I forgot to put that I wanted to release a book a month, but I think it nailed it when I was looking at things from the previous chat. Focusing on writing and editing the remaining 3 books. Okay, so this is good. I'm going to leave it, but I am going to make the correction. I forgot to mention that I want to publish at least 1 book a month. Because again, I'll have that 5-book series that I'm writing. I'm not releasing any of those. Actually, I want to put that in here so it remembers that. So I forgot to mention that I want to publish at least 1 book a month. Each month, 1 book each month. Remember that I also have that 5-book Dark Mafia romance series that has been started but needs to be edited and the last book written. I will not publish these separately. Those 5 books will be published all at once. How do these changes impact the previous schedule? Right, so it's revising everything. So focus on finalizing the first series. Okay, perfect. So carried in. Just want to make sure that train of thought stayed, and it did. Plan the launch of the first book. Okay, so this is, I'm not going to mess with chat trying to get it correct here. This is stuff I can change in editing. The first book will be released in 2023. I'm wondering, I'm just thinking out loud, I'm wondering if it means the first of the remaining books. Could be. All right, so this is good. Consider each month's release as a sprint, or you have specific tasks to accomplish weekly to stay on track. So I'm liking this so far. So I'm just going to say thank you. And I'm going to copy this. I could always come back and read through here. Let's see, decide which projects are most important or have deadlines first. So this is actually good. I had read through this first and I was, taking the time, not worried about taking too long for a video, I actually probably would have told it, entered this prioritization remark and told it which books were most important to me. I'm just going to copy that one. That's the 12-week year template. Let me go back to the one that was in process. So this is good. It's getting specific on my books. So now something else I want to add to this page is my quarterly goals here, because I like this formatting. I believe they actually have something in these. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if this one is empty. This one's empty. Okay. So I actually want to duplicate this. Let me find where it put it. Okay. So I'm going to make this one the master copy. So that way, as I'm adding this little format to my pages later on for subsequent years, I no longer have to delete what goes in there. Quarterly goals, master copy. And I'm just going to drag this out of that set. Be further up here. There we go. There is my master copy. And just to make sure, because I clicked away. Okay, so this was the empty one. So I actually want this on this page as well. So I'm just going to click it and drop it into that page. And now when I go into it, it is here. So this is actually where I could start breaking things down. So quarter one, I know that I need to write, edit, and publish. Second book. Let's see how big this line gets in. I'm just going to say Rose and Lily's series because I have 2 dark romance series in process. All right, so January is that. I'm just thinking here. A lot of my other books are in the editing stages, so I believe I could rotate and fit in some editing here. So continue to edit domestic abuse series. And then I want to publish first book in the domestic abuse series. Okay. So this is good. And I would just keep doing the same things. And I usually don't use this, but I want to keep it here in case I decide to start using it. This is just a little check-in. And I would fill this out for each month. And one thing I want to add here, turn this into a toggle, get it out of the way. One thing I want to add is, this is from Brian Moran's little workshop. So I want something more like this. and I will actually start breaking things down a little bit more. But for the books themselves, I don't believe I need that. So I'm just looking to see. Yeah, I think what we just did with the quarterly goals, because it's ending here and I can always have my date changed. Like quarter ending, whatever. So actually, I think this would be good. This encompasses that. All right, so let's go back to chat real quick and look. So it gave us all of our things right here. I'm gonna start a new chat just because I don't want the information from the other one, because now the other knows my book publishing, what I want to accomplish. I don't want that coming into play with this chat. So I would like to use the 12-week year method to plan my author business. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's going into what the 12-week year is, and then into how I could adapt it to my author business. Of course, you have the vision and long-term goals, which, it's the broad goal. Let's see, I'm trying to show you mine. So this is like the very broad goal. And then each week or each year, sorry, this is the long term. This is like the end result. But each year has these smaller chunks goals that are working their way up to this one. And then each quarter has goals that are working up to that yearly. So again, it's like that little, kind of like the domino effect. You work in quarters achieving goals. That helps you achieve the yearly goal. That yearly goal helps you achieve your long-term vision. And that's really why I like this so much. I think it breaks it down into so many steps instead of just having that very daunting long-term goal or the yearly goal. I get to see it broken down into these quarterly goals. So this is a way to help you get started with it. I'm just reading through real quick. Okay, so it gives you all the information, but I can ask, can you help me set up my 12-week year plan for 2024? And it should ask me some questions to get started. No, it's just going to, okay. We could work with this. And I don't do the daily ones. Okay, so let's customize this a bit. So for the first one, defining what I want to achieve by the end of 2024. At the end of 2024, I want to be earning at least $35,000 from my books. And I want to have, let's see, 35,000 for my books. I want to at least 12 books throughout 2024, because again, I'm already stockpiling those. So I won't have that burnout. I did it like 2 months in a row where I wrote and released, and I was burned out just after that. So I want to release 12 books throughout 2024. I'm going to go ahead and tell it I am using AI to help write my books. So the planning and writing processes go pretty fast. And I'm just going to give it an idea. For example, spend about a week plotting a book, a week writing, and then 2 weeks revising and editing. So I can reasonably I can easily get a book published every 2 months. And I can push myself to get one done each month. So again, I already have books stockpiled, but I'm telling it this because, again, my goal for 2024 was to publish at least once a month. So I don't want it to assume, I don't want it to latch on to I don't want it to latch on to every 2 months. And I also just want to keep things in mind for how it's going to work for releasing once a month. And I can push myself to get one done each month since I have books already written and only needing to be edited. There we go. So defining what I need at the end of 2024 and make sure I got everything. So I got the income goal, how many books I want to release, and giving it how long it typically takes me to do a book. Okay, I think that's good. Set your first 12-week goals. So I'm not going to go through all of these. I just kind of want you to see what we could do. So for example, I'm really not needing the rest of these. So let's just do number 2. Choose 2 to 3 goals for your first 12 weeks. First 12 weeks will focus on, I did tell it my series, correct? No, that wasn't in this conversation. First 12 weeks will focus on releasing 3 books because my first book will already be published in 2023. So we'll focus on releasing 3 books in my dark mafia romance series. These 3 books are all outlined and plotted. They just need to be written and edited. And I'm going to go ahead and tell it, what was the numbers? 3 through 9. I don't want to include these factors. Let's see how that does. So you'll see it's pretty much the same for each one. Marketing and sales focus. Okay. So I'm not going to copy this right now, but I have the chat later if I need to copy it. But again, all of these little outputs right here, I would be taking this, like you saw, and copying them into my Notion. To my in process one here. So I could start copying all of that information here, and then I would actually, let's just pretend all of this is what I just did. I would go through and make sure all of these are correct, make any changes I need, and just refine things. And then eventually it would be formatted more in a situation like this, where everything will be laid out for me for 2024. And these, of course, is where I could, if I didn't accomplish something, I would move it down to the next month. So those little changes are pretty easy to make. All right, so that is how I'm using the 12-week year goal to do my author goals. And I have to say it's working out really well for me. So again, check out the 12-week year by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. They usually have some free workshops where they walk you through things, setting things up. And then at the end of the 12 weeks, they usually have another free workshop, kind of a check-in, like, did you succeed? Did you fail? What happened? And they show you some areas that you can tweak. All right, I hope this helps, and I will see y'all later. Bye, everyone.